Hello, this is Charlene, and welcome to my new YouTube channel. For detailed directions on this card, you can visit me at my blog at wickedawesomecards.wordpress.com. So let's get started. So today we're going to start off with the materials that we need. The first material that we're going to use is a piece of 4 1/4 by 11 Whisper White thick cardstock. I love the thick cardstock for watercoloring. It's perfect. It doesn't warp or anything, so it's great for watercoloring, and it's also nice and thick. The next item we're going to need is a piece of 4 by 5 1/4 gold fancy foil designer vellum. I chose the piece that has the big polka dots on it this time, but you can choose any piece out of the package and it will work perfectly. And that measures 4 by 5 1/2. The next thing we're going to need is just a really small piece of Melon Mambo cardstock. I cut mine at 1 inch by 3 inches, and basically I cut it just a tad under 1 inch. You'll see why. I also have, for one item, a punched out piece of the Whisper White thick cardstock with the 2 1/2 inch circle punch. It's very easy to line up the flower in this card. I didn't really feel the need to stamp and then punch, but you may want to, and that's perfectly fine. Another item we're going to need is a metallic foil doily from this wonderful set. You get 3 different sizes, I believe. You get silver and gold in the 3 different sizes, and I believe you get 24 of them. For this project, we're going to use the largest gold foil. If you have silver, the gold fancy foil designer vellum also comes in silver. You can also make this card in silver and use the silver doily also. I think it would look just as great. Okay, so let's start making our project. The first thing I'm going to do is attach the vellum to my card base. Vellum is very hard to put adhesive on without seeing it through the back. But if you have some sort of a design like this one does, I find the easiest way to adhere it to anything is to use glue dots and try to place them behind a part of the design. So I'm just going to try to place them on the 4 corners, right behind the big giant circles there, and probably one in the middle circle. I think that should be plenty. All I'm going to do to it next is line it up and adhere it to the front of the card. Piece of cake. It looks pretty already. The next thing I'm going to do is start stamping my images. The image that I used on this card, I'll bring it back in, is one of the flowers from Birthday Blooms. This is a great set. This set is perfect for watercoloring, perfect for coloring in. It's perfect even used by itself. I've seen it used with a watermark look on background papers. It's very, very pretty. Today I'm going to use this smaller flower and 2 of the sentiments. Next I'm going to take my 2 1/2 inch circle that I punched out and stamp it with the small image that I've chosen from the stamp set Birthday Blooms. I'm going to use my Versamark pad, which is a sticky watermark pad that puts a watermark type ink on the stamp. Going to stamp it down. take out my gold embossing powder, which I keep in a little bowl with a teeny tiny little spoon I picked up somewhere, and sprinkle it on here. Give it a couple of good flicks. Oh, see, you can see my mistake from earlier. Perfect. Now I'm going to bring in my heat tool and shiny it up. Here we go. Perfect. All right. Next I'm going to bring in my 1 by 3 inch piece of Melon Mambo cardstock. The first thing I want to do is put my notch in it for the banner. So I'm going to bring in my triple banner punch. The reason I cut it a little shy of 2 inches is that in my punch, if you cut your piece at exactly 2 inches, it doesn't fit that great. I'm going to insert it as far as I can go, stand up and give it a little punch, and here we go, a perfect banner. The next thing I'm going to do is get my For You stamp from this, also from this Birthday Blooms set, and stamp it in Versamark. And I'll be heat embossing it with the gold ink. I tend to line things up on my grid paper first before I stamp, especially words. Stamp it as close as you can to the end of the banner, so there's plenty of room. There we go. And now I'm going to put the gold embossing powder on it and heat it up. Definitely be using my tweezers on this small piece. Go. Perfect. Before I start assembling my card, I want to do some watercoloring on this beautiful flower. For this I'm going to use the Stampin' Up Aqua Painter. It's an awesome tool. All you do is screw off the top, fill it with a little water. I always put the top of the pen on the bottom. Habit, I guess. So I'm going to bring in my Pear Pizzazz Stampin' ink. Squeeze the ink pad a little bit so I can get some on the top cover. I'm going to attempt the leaves first. I'm going to squeeze out a little bit of the water onto the well here, just a teeny tiny bit to get things flowing. And start coloring in the leaves. Doesn't have to be perfect. Watercoloring is certainly not a perfect art. So if you go out of the lines, don't worry. Now I'm going to tackle the stem here. Pretty cool. I'm going to try to maybe shade the bottom of the leaf a little bit to make it look like it's a little darker. All I'm doing is taking a little bit of the ink and going over what's already there. I think that's perfect. Next I'm going to color the flower. I'm squeezing my aqua painter off on a paper towel on the side here. I've got Melon Mambo ink, and I'm going to squeeze a little bit of that onto the lid. I'm going to start with the same thing and just get a little bit of water in here, moving it around. I'm going to start closer to the middle where I feel the middle of the flower should be the darkest. And then spread out from there. Yeah, that's pretty good. I think I've got most of it. Oops, I see a spot. Perfect. That came out pretty good. The next thing I'm going to do is adhere it to the gold foil doily, if I can find it, with a little bit of snail. Actually, I'm going to use Fast Fuse. Let me see if I can find it over here. Got it. I think Fast Fuse will adhere pretty good to that circle. Oops, I must be at the end. That's plenty though. And stick it right in the middle. Perfect. The next thing we're going to do, if we go back to the card, is adhere this circle to this side. But before we do that, I'm going to put this For You banner over here on the edge. You can put it towards the bottom, you could put it at the top. I kind of liked it in the middle. For this, I'm going to take a little multi-purpose Tombow glue. Just make sure your flagged edges don't really hang out too far over the edge, or else you won't be able to get it in the envelope. I've done that before. Then I'm going to line this up where I think I want to have it. You can leave more room, a little room, and if you'll notice on the original, I've cut off one end. Here, I'm going to put dimensionals on the back, but try not to go too close to this side, because I'm going to be cutting part of it off. Alright, and just peel off the protected backs of the Stampin' Dimensionals. And put it on the card. Love it. Love it, love it. All you have to do now is open up the card, take your paper snips, and just cut off the excess. That looks awesome. I always like to complete a card by putting a sentiment on the inside if I know what I'm going to use it for. And I need a birthday card this time, so I'm going to put a birthday sentiment on the inside. I've got happiest of birthdays to you also from this Birthday Blooms set. So I think I'll just use that. Kind of eyeballing it here a little. Perfect. And that's it. It's a very simple card that I've shown you today, and I hope that you like it. So thanks for hanging out with me at wickedawesomecards.wordpress.com, and I hope to be making some more videos in the future. Let me know if you like them, and please subscribe to my channel. Have a great day.